everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Reads with Renee. I am Renee, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about an article I had read that have the list of 10 classic books that inspire every woman to have grace and confidence. Now, I will be revealing plot details in some of these books, and just spoilers are ahead. So I was hoping to do more of a reactionary video to this article, but it didn't really turn out too well, or at least I was going through it and it wasn't really working very well. So instead, I'm just going to go over the books that have a list right here on the screen, as you see. Now, some of these books I have read, but I haven't actually read. Middlemarch by George Eliot, so I can't really go by. I'm just going to go over an overview because I realize that sometimes we take books as inspiration, the hero, the heroine, the character in it basically who really does connect with us and relate to us, and someone who can inspire us and teach us these lessons. And that's part of doing that when you're reading it as a young adult or even a child. Life lessons growing up. Who do you want to be? Now, going some of these books are, of course, Jane Austen, three of her works actually. So we got Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Sense and Sensibility. And I would agree that yes, these can inspire you to have grace and confidence because all the women in it are very complex people who go through their own sets of challenges and personal growth, have their own personalities, and end up becoming very graceful, confident ladies by the end of the book. We have Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, our main character, who deals with her own challenges. So she is someone that wants to marry for love, even though they don't have a lot of money. And she does meet her perfect man, but unfortunately, because both of them have their own things that they have to deal with and grow together and apart, they can't be together until they do that. But above all, Elizabeth Bennet does go through her own journey. She's a intelligent, kind, witty, headstrong young woman, but she does have her own prejudices and belief system and does make her own judgments. And she does challenge that with her perfect person, Mr. Darcy, who also challenges it with her. And so it's got a nice little back and forth from enemies to lovers. But it does create growth among both of them, especially Elizabeth Bennet, who always remains very graceful and confident in herself, while also evolving to become more mature and graceful and confident too. Now, Emma Woodhouse is one of the most divisive characters in the Jane Austen universe, but I personally like her because of the growth she goes through. She has to learn how to be a person that goes through not knowing a lot and thinking she knows everything and butting into other people's business when she should leave it alone, to suddenly learning the lessons the hard way, but nonetheless help to slowly make her grow and evolve. And that's why I like her, because she's the Jane Austen heroine, in my opinion, who goes through the most character development. And I love her connection with Mr. Lately because they balance each other out. He criticizes her, but she criticizes him, and they both learn from each other. Now, Sense and Sensibility is very much coming of age, and Eleanor Dashwood is a very graceful woman with confidence, but she knows where to not overstep her bounds and how to handle herself in a dignified way, whereas her sister Marianne is very confident and likes to go for what she wants. So they are sisters who are very much opposites in how they do things, but they nonetheless handle themselves with grace, confidence, and dignity, as well as making sure that they find the path they need to, even through the heartbreak they go through. Now, Anne of Green Gables is one of my favorites, and I love Anne Shirley because one of the articles say that she embraces her uniqueness, and for herself being an Avonlea after everything she's gone through with being an orphan and going to different homes, she ends up gaining this imagination in a way to protect herself from a lot of things. And she finds her place in Avonlea. She loves Green Gables. She loves the town. She feels she has a sense of stability, but she never really loses what makes her unique, which is that she marches to the beat of her own drum, has to learn her lessons as she comes of age, of course, but she has a lot of grace and confidence as she goes through the entire story. She knows who she is and what she wants, and she goes for it, even with some challenges along the way. Now, Jane Eyre is one of my favorite books on this list as well, because with Jane Eyre, she's someone who has resilience and self-respect, and that's why I love her so much. For anyone who reads that book, it can be, as I found, a little divisive because of some of the choices that choices and decisions that are made. Bear in mind, it's from the 19th century. But what I love best about Jane Eyre and always did is that she always had resilience and self respect. She kept to her morals, and I think everyone should do that because self respect is important, but keeping to your morals of what's right and wrong, as well as resilience, even among the challenges you face, is the best thing. And she goes through a lot of challenges, Jane. She goes through a lot of heartbreak, making tough decisions, but she still maintains her resilience to start her life over, even though it may not work out. It's a challenge, but she maintains her self respect and her resilience, and she keeps going forward. Wuthering Heights is, of course, the most divisive novel that I know of in classic literature, and for good reason. But I do agree with the article a little bit in that it does teach you lessons about loyalty, obsession, and how the past shapes your future. Heathcliff and Kathy are very obsessed with each other, of course, but it does teach the reader how obsession is not a good thing, even if you do love each other deeply, because I do believe they did, but more in a very unhealthy way. And that teaches the lessons of saying, hey, I love you, but is this relationship really healthy? And what do I do about it? An obsession is not a good thing. And how are the choices that I'm making going to shape not only myself, but also my future and affect everyone else? Because the book does go through generational trauma too. Now, Middlemarch, I didn't really read, so I can't say too much about it, but it is from what the article says about personal growth and journey, and that is the most important thing anywhere. So, Little Women is a book that's involving four sisters who are very complex. They take their own paths in life as they come in age. One sadly dies tragic, and the others go on with their lives in different ways. They're affected by the tragedy, of course, but they continue on despite the challenges. And they choose different paths. Job decides to take on a career and more education. Meg gets married for love rather than money. And Amy comes of age as the youngest sister. And these are all women who go through their own journeys and challenges and find their way to become graceful and confident, but also stay true to themselves while looking back and deciding for their futures what they truly want. The other two books on the list were The Great Gatsby and To K a Mockingbird. And the reason why I didn't really fit well with these books about inspiring grace and confidence is because having read those books, it didn't really make sense to me in terms of grace and confidence, but I can see learning lessons from it. So The Great Gatsby, as you know, I'm going to be reading for my Fall 2025 challenge, is one lesson you can learn from where sometimes it's not great to hold on to the past. As we all know from reading that book, Jay Gatsby is very much in love with Daisy, but things have changed so much in their lives that it doesn't really make sense, at least to me, the reader, that they should be together. I understand you love each other, you meet again and feel the same feelings, but too much time has passed and may be time for you to move on with your lives. But it also challenges ideas about the American dream, success. Does this make me happy? So it's a good book from what I remember, so it'll be interesting to reread it in the next couple of weeks. As for To K a Mockingbird, it is a book that I do genuinely like. I don't see it more as... Now, To K a Mockingbird is a book that I feel doesn't necessarily inspire grace, but it does inspire you to challenge prejudices as well as have the courage to do so. And it is a great book because it does focus a lot on seeing things through the eyes of a child in terms of the court system in the 1930s and seeing the prejudices that affect the court system and society and what a child feels when they look through it. And so I think it's a very good book that inspires confidence to go for what you want, take on the challenges, even when society doesn't see it the same way, and make the mark for yourself. I thank you so much for watching and hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave a link to the article in the description box, but for now, tell me what you think. Do you think any of these novels inspire grace and confidence? Do you feel they don't? Are there other books that can do that? Is there something about these books that you like that offer something else other than grace and confidence? Please be sure to leave all your opinions in the comment section. I'm open to all discussions. Again, I hope you've enjoyed that video, and I'll be back with more in the coming weeks, which are book reviews and other topics here, especially something for Halloween themes because I like Halloween and I can't wait for the spooky times of October. I thank you so much again for tuning in. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, as well as click the notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye.